Alright, so our mana's pretty sketchy, but we can just draw lands. That'll probably work. I would feel a little better about this hand if we had like a Divide by Zero or something, but I don't want to mulligan ever. Alright, turn 2 Fearsome Whelp. That is a thing that exists. Alright, Jwari Disruption, kind of helpful. Let's take a look at that hand and see what you discounted, opponent. Okay. We're living in this world. I see. I see. And what do we do about that? I suppose I get rid of Townraiser Tyrant because that's the scary card. I have no cards in hand that answer any of that. That's going to be a concern. Doomscar is a better card than Vanquish the Horde generally. And being guaranteed to be at most 5 mana is nice. It's still a little slow, though. Alright, drew some lands and some colors and some general improvements. Opponent still missing land drops, which helps us out a little bit. Opponent drew Adult Gold Dragon. Gets to play that against Vanishing Verse. Makes my life kind of inconvenient. Very rude. Alright, everything doesn't cost anything, and I don't have any black mana. So I would wager that I am in danger. No real way around that. Even if I draw Parasitic Grasp right now, I don't have the double black sources to target Gold Dragon. Opponent plays Moonveil Regent. That's annoying. Have to Vanishing Verse that, which lets them know it's now safe to play Goldspan Dragon. Really would have preferred my opponent to have played Goldspan Dragon last turn, honestly. More spells that I can't do anything with, so I'm going to say that I have not drawn the ability to do anything here, unfortunately. I could have Vanishing Verse the Fearsome Whelp relatively earlier, but I don't think... Oh, cool. They top deck Moonveil Region immediately. Okay, I don't get to do anything. Alright. Feel like if I had top decked a black source on either of the last 2 turns, I was in a relatively fine position there, but okay. Alright. Disdainful Strokes, Infernal Grasps, Parasitic Grasps, Trim the Meathook Massacres, Trim the Discover the Formula, and what was the other thing we were cutting? No, only 1 Parasitic Grasp. Right. Okay. Yes. Yeah, difficult to interact with the nut draw without the ability to interact, huh? What do we have this time around? We have some colors and some spells. That's an improvement. Is the white in this deck strictly for Vanishing Verse? Yes. I am still not entirely certain whether that is worthwhile, and the metagame seems to be doing a good job of responding to Vanishing Verse by playing fewer monocolored threats, or rather more multicolored threats and more decks. But it is a very flexible removal spell. It is very flexible. Yep, that's a Fearsome Whelp. I have Seagate Restoration plays a land next turn, so I suppose I should Jwari Disruption this rather than use my Vanishing Verse, I think. I don't actually want to Divide by Zero anything next turn, I don't think. I think I would prefer to Vanishing Verse any threat they were to play, because they could mind drop me, and I would prefer to divide by 0 that. Okay, Lantern Lost, sure. I don't really mind that at all. It makes my Lier more awkward, but yeah, whatever. I'll accept my Lier being more awkward if it means the opponent wasn't doing anything this turn. Moonveil Regent resolves, sure. I would like to resolve Memory Deluge. I would like a land, and probably a divide by 0. Do I want to divide by 0? Do I want a Jwari Disruption instead, maybe? We'll take a divide. Yeah, take a divide. Okay, Sorin is interesting. I'd like the Vanishing Verse Moonveil Regent. Metagame will make Verse bad this weekend. I don't expect the metagame will have adapted to Vanishing Verse by this weekend. I do expect that it will probably have adapted by the weekend following. I think I have to take Environmental Sciences here. I do need a third black source so that I can at some point play Sorin plus Infernal Grasp. And I'm expecting this turn I probably Environmental Sciences into divide by 0 most likely. Ooh, we can also just hold up another Memory Deluge, you say. I like that. I wonder if I'm just supposed to play Sorin here. I probably can. Yeah. Might as well get this down before they can have Disdainful Stroke to punish me anyway. If they Goldspan Dragon, attack Sorin, and then have Dragonfire for the 2-3, I'm still not even super out. Like, that's still just mostly a 1-for-1. If they Adult Gold Dragon and attack Sorin, then yeah, I guess I have to chump block. And that's sad. But also I still have Sorin, so not as sad as it could be. Alright, let's uptick Sorin, hit a land, good to see. Alright, so I have Infernal Grasp for the Adult Gold Dragon, and divide by 0 for something after that. I was on the play, so Forsaken Crossroads comes into play tapped, but so does Hall of the Storm Giants. I think I play Crossroads, and I think I play it on blue, because I do think I want this Scry. Do I want the untap land next turn? Probably. I think I probably just want more untap lands as much as possible. Should I Infernal Grasp this Gold Dragon? Probably yes. I don't believe I want the opponent to be able to have a counterspell for my Infernal Grasp, on the odd chance they're playing Test of Talents off that blue mana. Eye Tyrant. Oh no, I want my mana. You cannot have my mana, opponent. Yeah, I'll take Mascot Exhibition, why not? It theoretically attempts to win the game at some point. Orb of Dragonkind for our opponent. Do we continue upticking with Sorin, or do we make a 2-3? Jump blockers are cool. So is everything else. Opponent decided not to use a lantern, so I now have Memory Deluge available. It's kind of tempting to play that. I think I downtick Sorin. I kind of think I just play the Mascot Exhibition, honestly. Just see if the opponent can raise me? It's probably crazy. Yeah, no. I'm probably just supposed to Memory Deluge. I think we play Hall of the Storm Giants. The opponent can use Eye Tyrant on it. I'll have to be okay with that. Oops, Tyrant resolves, targets Hall of the Storm Giant, one would assume. They do indeed do so. So opponent can activate Lantern of the Lost and Orb of the Dragonkind, put a bunch of cards in hand, have a bunch of mana. Alright. So mostly we're just looking for Disdainful Strokes and card draw spells. Or no, Disdainful Strokes and removal spells with Memory Deluge. Anything that reduces the number of threats my opponent has in play. We find a Vanishing Verse, we find Disdainful Strokes. Perfect. So if I played Lier here, we wouldn't get Divide, because in response to Lier getting played, our opponent would have cracked the Lantern of the Lost and exiled all of our graveyard. So I'm kind of operating under the assumption that the Lier isn't going to do anything for a couple of turns, at least. And I would prefer to do other stuff that my opponent can't interact with the Lantern with, because our opponent does have an incentive to crack the Lantern to actually put cards in their hand, because they're currently falling behind and sort of need fuel to stop falling behind. I don't think this is the timing you want to use the Orb on, opponent. I will refuse to sacrifice my lands because mana sounds good. We will uptick Sorin because drawing cards sounds good. We'll hope the card that we draw with Sorin doesn't cost like 5 life, because I'd probably have to refuse if it does. Costs 2. I'm willing to pay 2. That seems like a fine deal. Alright, how much mana do we have? 3, 6, 7. If I Mascot Exhibition, I can Vanishing Verse. That sounds like a good deal to me. That gives us a double block on Eye Tyrant, gives us some threats to attack with, gives us a removal spell if we want it, and a Disdainful Stroke if we need it. Seems like lots of good stuff to me. Inferno the Star Mounts. That would be scary if it didn't do nothing to Vanishing Verse. Alright, no attacks into 4/4s. Opponent plays a 6/6. Sure, that resolves. And then it goes away. Theoretically, I should let them declare attacks before casting this Vanishing Verse. It's more likely they attack with the Eye Tyrant if they're also attacking with the 6/6. But we're not here to play optimally, are we? Alright, we did see that the opponent has an Adult Little Dragon. That makes me feel vindicated in keeping in the Parasitic Grasps, which I believe means we just ship. Alright, this time around we're on the draw, which is an awful lot less appealing. Both Fading Hopes. No removal spells, no mana, lots of expensive cards. That is unfortunately a mulligan. This hand is better. This hand's pretty close to about as good as a mulligan to 6 can be. I am on the draw, so Forsaken Crossroads can come into play untapped on turn 2. We're probably naming black with it, which means I should lead on Deserted Beach so that I can have Vanishing Verse and Jwari Disruption up on turn 2. My opponent has turn 2 Fearsome Whelp on the play. Bit of a bummer. So hopefully their hand doesn't have too many dragons. Otherwise this will be a little bit of a problem. Has 1 orb and 1 whelp. Okay, well that means I'm definitely not Vanishing Versing anything. We're saving our removal spells for their other creatures. More lands. That's the beginning of a concerning problem. Blue mana for the opponent. And what kind of threats you got over there? Damage. Have they played a land already? Yes. Alright. Divide by 0. Townraiser Tyrant. Ah, Mascot Exhibition really isn't good against a deck of all flyers, but Teachings of the Archaic is also useless, and so is Environmental Sciences. Not ideal, not ideal, not ideal, not ideal. What do we do here? Do I take Environmental Sciences just because it's deck thinning? I just have such a hard time imagining Mascot Exhibition being useful. More orbs. Okay. Okay, Discover the Formula is a nice little get. I think I play Environmental Sciences here. Who knows when that life will manage to be relevant. I don't think there's a super high likelihood that I want a Vanishing Verse and Jwari Disruption this turn, although maybe that could be the case if they end up cracking orbs. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. It's possible, but I don't think it's likely. Life total is still relatively good. I imagine... I feel like they were supposed to crack the orb here before the Fearsome Whelp triggers went away. Counterspell? Sure. Test of Talents for Vanishing Verse makes my life kind of awkward. Test of Talents is an interesting choice for Counterspell. I guess if you're... it's compared to Negate. I wonder if not hitting... Meathook Massacre is just totally acceptable. Alright, I can't sacrifice that. I need lands for Discover the Formula. Unfortunately, the deck thinning has not proven to be successful. We find ourselves in an awkward spot. Especially because they know about the Jwari Disruption now. Alright. Well, opponent gets to play more Townraiser Tyrants. Alright. Yeah, I don't actually have interaction, so I can't really do anything about that. But this is a spot that makes it look like maybe I should be figuring out some way to cut something to play board wipes still. And maybe the Parasitic Grasps are just worse than the board wipes. I mean, not that I have a Parasitic Grasp in this situation, but it would be nice to have the out to draw into one. Okay, so we go down to 5. Yeah, okay. Decline, decline. Nope. Okay. Yeah, alright. Well, it was kind of 2 games in a row where we didn't really get to interact, did we? I mean, we did definitely try to play a Vanishing Verse, and we did definitely resolve a Divide by 0.